What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. Figured I'd give you guys a quick update. Progress has been terrible, I'll be quite honest with you. Life's kind of beat me up a little bit with some bills and some things. My fridge died, all my food went bad, and I've just had my head kind of buried in the sand and trying to get things done. But we have been collecting parts, and I've been tinkering with this thing. And right now I'm waiting on the adapter from FabBot. I didn't know what the lead time was. I thought it might be an item they had on the shelf, but apparently not. So let me show you guys where we're at, because this is really why you're here. So ta-da! This is what I chose to do with the cross member. There's another dude that built one of these named Dick Ham, and then I kind of saw him cut that out, and I figured we kind of have to do it. And then there's another guy called Poppy's Patina or something I started following. They're making a burnout one. And then PFI Speed also has a Pacer with an LS, but nobody showed this portion of it. So this was what I came up with. So I just full on cut the cross member. We put a tie bar through there to hold it. The original motor mounts here had indentations for these guys, right? So they would sit in there and it would kind of hold it. Well, I didn't know where the engine was going to sit, so I just made these plates to flatten it out, so I would have, you know, something flat just to slide it, move it around, because if it's all pivoted and weird, you might get a weird angle or a weird size, and I figured this would make my life simple. So I just made those, tacked those on, and then I sat and we TIG welded these all up. These are like little standoffs for the clamshells. It's a Chevy mount, right? And this is as much motor and transmission as I have. My buddy Brian did a really good job of killing this. So this is my new mock-up block. Eventually we'll get an aluminum one, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and this is what we have. It's a bell housing off of Tahoe for a 4060. So with the adapter, this is gonna bolt to the 5-speed that we have. And I got the Amazon swap pan, and I just went with the shallow boy, like as shallow as possible, because I had no idea. Initially I wanted to do a full-size truck pan because I thought it'd be cool to just use a factory part, but those things hang way down, and I was like, you know what, by the time we start struggling, put motors in and out, and then if I realize the pan's too thick here, or it sags too much, or wherever it drops, and then I had to get a pan, I didn't want to wait. So we just skipped straight to this, the old Amazon $140 swap guy. And I even contemplated doing the other one that this is a little thicker on, but we just went full pancake on this guy. So it's like, this is all the clearance you can get. Figure out where to put this thing. So that is kind of where we're at. And then this is a Chevy style mount, because this is what we had left over from, you remember these were in the boom before we did the front plate. So we just transfer them over to this guy. And if you're probably wondering, you're like, hey, you already tacked those things in, did you have it in here? Well, I did. I had it in. I thought we were gravy. I had a string line from the center of it's the hump in the back where the drive shaft, like the tail shaft for the transmission would go, and then I pull it up to the front, and I measured, it's roughly like a 2-inch offset from driver's side to passenger. You know, your engine sits offset for your steering, and you could tell obviously by these guys too. Anyways, I put it in there, thought we were sweet, and then I realized these mounts had basically kind of given up the ghost, and they were sagging, and it wasn't like a little bit, they were down pretty good, right? And then I'm like, oh man, I wonder if it's the weight of all this. Started looking around, well, it wasn't. But to fix that, we took everything back out, and then I made these little tab guys, welded it here, and then I have a nut behind there. I didn't show that portion of it, but basically open it up, welded a flange nut in there. So these are just for the load down, and the clamshell guys back here are actually captured. So this will help, you know, side to side. It should hold it in there. But when I jacked it up and I supported it here, this sagged, and then if that sags and twists, it throws this off. Whoo! I didn't even take a breath that whole time. So we're just gonna slide it back in. Let me do that. I won't let you watch me struggle, and then I'll just kind of set it in here. We'll see what it looks like. But I think this is all gonna be off. But they're already tacked in. This will just go right back in place, and I'm basically screwed regardless. So there's no point to cut the tacks or anything. I have to pull it back out when I get the adapter. And what I think is, this is just a guess, I'm planning on probably having to pull it back out. But when you have the transmission, you got 3 points of contact, right? You got A, B, and then C in the back, so that way you can get it where you need it, this way, that way, and then the tail shaft. Because the main thing is just making sure the drive line or the transmission kind of ends up in the tunnel. And then obviously front to back, we're gonna have to contend with the shifter. But it looks like this placement here where we have it would facilitate all that if we got lucky. But let me throw this thing in. I'll give you guys a look at it. We'll get this thing wrapped. Bam, there you go. So I think it is off. I mean, it was the best I could do with kind of what I had. So there's no point in fighting myself, but you can see, you know, how we slid it in there. And I think, I mean, you can see the tunnel, we're definitely offset this way. But I mean, I might be able just to cut these tacks free on these guys and then swap them side to side, because those are longer and then these are shorter. So that would push it over a little bit, and then worst case I can screw off and make a whole new set of those guys if we really need to. But I'm not going to waste any more time trying to do that. When you crawl underneath, I might as well show you guys underneath. But we've got room here to our guy, so we're good. It's kind of tight in here, but we still have room. I don't think I want to go any lower. I just want to go that way a little more. We don't really hang down past our, you know, flat point down here, so that's good. And then I'll show you underneath. I mean, I know it looks like we're way the hell out, but this is where this guy is, right? So yeah, I think we need to just a little bit, and then it'll give us more room for exhaust and stuff over here too. So we'll have to flip those guys around and set it back down, but we're gonna do all that when the transmission comes in. So at least I can line the tail shaft up here, and then we can just pivot over there, right? Instead of just guessing. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoy the update. They'll be kind of slow. Like I said, I'm waiting on parts. So we will see how we go. I hope you guys had a fantastic holiday weekend. I'm out.
You boy, if you with me, the police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out. For the punk mother, they're showing out. When I'm in your neighborhood, you better duck, 'cause I skew this crazy ass. As I leave, believe I'm something. I'm coming straight out of Compton.